everybody. Welcome to the Minus 20 podcast. We're a real play podcast where we play the RPG Pathfinder 2nd edition. I'm here with my friends. Why don't we go around the table, introduce ourselves?
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Serafina.
Oh, hey, I'm John. I'm going to be playing a character named Marth.
James, I'll be playing Pancho.
I'm Nate, playing Shepherd.
I'm Diana, and I play Kira.
All right. Obviously, we named our podcast Minus 20 because it gets cold here in the Twin Cities. And true to the name of the podcast, the first couple of times we sat down to record, it was really cold. But today it's like minus 20 plus 50 or so, right?
Yeah.
First time in a while.
Yeah. So we've got some good weather. And I think normally we'll banter a little bit, but we've got a long first episode today. So I think we might get right into it. I should say, one quick note before we begin is we're using Foundry VTT. You're going to hear us talk about it a lot as we go. I think there's going to be a little bit of struggle and everything. We're also trying to explain the rules as much as possible for those who are new to Pathfinder or tabletop RPGs. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. And other than that, I think we're good to go. I think it should be hopefully pretty obvious what we're going to do as we
So we named it because of the weather? I thought it was because of my usual roles. Like negative 20 seems about right.
Yeah, that is true.
I think it's worth noting that we are, most of us are pretty new to Pathfinder.
Yes.
But a lot of us are new to even our classes this game. So there will be a lot of trial and error. Please be patient.
That excellent point. Thank you, Diana. And it's also, while we're all pretty new, I think maybe I have the most experience because I'm running a bunch of games for people, but there's a bunch of classes. There's some classes here being played that I've never worked with before. So yeah, we are going to, pause and look up rules definitely in the middle of this game. So let's get started. You know what? One more note. I should mention this is a homebrew world. Paizo, the magnificent creator of Pathfinder 2, has lovely adventure paths. We decided for our own reasons to build our own adventure. So this is a completely new world. We are using Paizo's gods and dates and days of the weeks and a bunch of other stuff, but we'll get to that as we go. But I just wanted to throw that out there for those of you who are avid Pathfinder players.
This ain't your daddy's Pathfinder.
That's right.
It's all new, baby.
All right. So with that, we're going to start with imagine ourselves behind a camera or maybe taking a picture through a drone or whatever, but think of it as a movie scene. And we'll begin at first in complete darkness. And yes, I'm going to go back to the beginning of space and time. So we'll have a couple minutes at the end for character development. Just joking. So at first there's complete darkness. And then to the east, the sky lightens. And we see below us a smudge across the land, dotted with pinpoints of flickering light. A city. This is Hammer City. As it lightens still, we begin to see some detail in the city. We can see the buildings and roads astride the confluence of two rivers, which in the dim light look like black tentacles ribboning across the land. When the sun finally crests the horizon, its silver light first strikes a fort of black stone on a hill, perched between where the two rivers join. It is a walled-off section of the city. That fort is surrounded by palatial mansions. We then see the lamps on the south bank of the river flicker out one by one as the lamplighters fan across tidy streets and cottages and snuff out the flames with their lighting sticks. By the river, the lamps emit an acrid, greasy smoke outside the gambling dens and bars by the docks. No one tends to these lamps. Downriver to the east, there are slaughterhouses and tanneries, which are silent, but we already hear the lowing from the pens across the river, promising they'll soon be busy. Our gaze, however, crosses the river to the north bank. There are a cluster of temples crowding around a bridge to the hilltop fort, and we can hear bells and chants ring through the streets from the temples that celebrate dawn and light and life. Our focus is further to the east on the ruddy glow of furnaces and the foundries just north of the river. Our camera swoops away from these factories, north through rows of brick tenement buildings, and north still through alleys and streets, stirring now with the first shift workers starting their day. Soon, we come to a triangular-shaped plaza formed by the intersection of 5 streets. And this is appropriately called Triangle Square. And our camera then will zoom to a small restaurant on the edge of the square. I'm going to kick it off to James. Would you like to describe this restaurant? What's going on inside?
Yeah, if you were walking up to the restaurant, it would be stonework, both on the main restaurant, which you can see a large sign that says Les Liens, and then taking the focus slightly to the left, facing the building, is a small kind of hobbled out shack that clearly looked like it was once a storage area for the restaurant. But there is a fairly newer than the brick around it, or the stone around it, door that has a small placard on top, and in a small arching font says Pancho Vineyards Bottle Shop. As you open the door, first thing you kind of notice is that kind of wind and smell that came from outside still kind of permeates the place, because as you kind of look at the ceiling, you notice there's just a number of holes in the ceiling. There's a couple of porthole style windows on the one side. So there's a decent flow of air through this place. But then the second thing you kind of pick up in the scent is that kind of crushed grape smell. So clearly in the back of the shop, there is some level of fermenting grapes. As you step into the right, there's 2 little metal circular canisters. One says parasols, so people can put their umbrellas for whenever it's raining. And the next one says weapons. And there's a little sign just kind of reading, "For the sake of our customers, please put all weapons in here. No one wants to get accidentally stabbed." Looking around the bottle shop itself, the stone walls are kind of almost held up by a series of vines that also hold up a number of shelves and bottles. As you kind of look at each bottle, none of them have any labels on any of them, but there are different waxes on top to keep the corks in places. And there's probably, on any given wall, probably 30 to 40 different bottles. And it's a very hodgepodgey rainbow style of bottles, because it doesn't look like any single one of them comes from the same place, that they're very much just reused bottles, possibly from the restaurant. And so there's clearly like an element of refilling going on here. As you walk in, the floor is half dirt, half stone, but well kept. And you get further into the store, probably the front half of the store is probably 15 feet long by 15 feet wide, separated by a long counter. And then there's a couple of doors in the back that go into another room. And as you kind of get closer to that counter and to that back room, that's where the smell of that crushed grape kind of comes off even more. Sitting behind the counter is a small grape man, just not really asleep per se, but just kind of dozing, relaxing, as the bit of the sunlight that was coming from the day kind of still hits him. And you kind of see a little bit of like a bit of joy coming from his mouth. That's literally just a gap in the grapes.
So when you say grape man, he's like a grapevine.
Yeah. So
creature,
it's, Bo is a leshy, which is a plant-like person. Most of the body is made up of different like constructions of vines and leaves that kind of create almost like a little vest for him. And then his face is that kind of classic Merlot grape, forming into a beard.
Nice.
And his eyes are just more of like a yellowish type grape to kind of signify just where his face is. And sitting on top of that is just an old burlappy straw style hat. Number of holes in it, kind of frayed around the edges, but definitely the kind of thing that you could easily kind of just cover your face on a day, or just even doze off a little bit. And yeah, you can just kind of hear just a slight breathing as he's kind of coming into awakeness.
Nice. So what does he do? What's going on?
Bo, kind of starting his day, realized, I better go talk to Vol and see what she needs. And he'll kind of make his way through kind of this stone-hewn rounded door, kind of separates by those classic wood style. I'm making the gesture with my hand of the kind of like what you'd expect an old saloon style door.
Yeah, swinging gates.
Swinging, thank you. He kind of slips through, but given his stature being only about 3 feet tall, he's really more just making sure he doesn't hit his head on the lower part of that door. And yeah, he comes into the restaurant. The restaurant's beautiful. It's the stonework there is more well kept. And yeah, you can hear in the background Vol just yelling at the different workers of the Les Liens restaurant as they're trying to prep for the night's.
What does Vol look like?
Oh yeah, Vol. Vol is Goharan, a kind of a earth elemental / flower type person. She has kind of a bluish type petalling to her face, very like light green, kind of more body structure. Standing roughly around 5 to 6 feet tall, much bigger than Bo, and much more like demanding. She just yells like as any head chef would of any restaurant.
Right. Yeah, you can hear her yelling as you come in. Bernard, I thought I told you to take the trash out. And, Marta, are you almost done prepping the lettuce for today? Oh, where did I get these two miserable dwarfs? Oh, Bo, thank goodness. Some sanity here in the kitchen. These two new dwarves who I picked up, Reynold and Marta, don't know their thumbs from their elbows. So, what's on tap today for wine? By the way, the special today will be a kind of Italian stew, sausage and olives, onions, that kind of thing. What would you recommend for dinner tonight?
Oh, I'll pair it with the stew. Here, let me go check. And he kind of makes his way to the back and reassures the two dwarves, like, don't worry, she gets worked up before the day starts, and he kind of walks around, not
you
trying
see
to bump at anybody.
they're clearly twins, right? They brother and sister look up at you, exasperation, look terrified.
And he kind of reaches in real quick and just grabs a little bit just to kind of get a taste of just the sauce and the thing. Well, I think that would pair really, really well with Rosa. She's great. She's been really happy lately, and this feels like real happy food.
Rosa.
And so one thing with all of Bo's wines, yes, Rosa would be the name he would give to it, but it actually has to come with the fact that being a plant person, he speaks and understands and empathizes with all the plants that actually give him the grapes. And so he doesn't think about it as, oh, this is a Chianti, or this is a Syrah, or this is different wine. He thinks of it as, no, this grape came from Rosa, and its very flavor comes from its, how it was feeling when those grapes were picked, how it's literal, like, life essence actually pays more than the fact that, like, did it come from a barrel? He doesn't think about it that way. Like, yes, he is the sommelier for this restaurant, and those are important parts of it, but he goes to a whole nother level being a plant himself with grapes.
So what you're saying is he cheats.
Very much. Like, I think you lean into what you know.
That's right.
And if you rob the world of that talent, then that's just not the way to be. So,
yeah. Bull would cock an eyebrow at the name of Rosa and say, last time we had Irma make the wine. Is there something different that's happened?
Yeah, that would be good, but I think they're just as of late been a little bit more grumpy, if you get my drift. So I think Rose would be a much better pairing for it. She's just been so happy lately, and
well, I trust you for sure about these things, Bo. Do me a favor. Could you update the blackboard with the selections of wine today?
Right away, chef. And he kind of makes his way over to the thing, and you can see he's like the board's probably good 3 feet above him, but like he just stretches those vines really high, like unnaturally longer than the vine of like the arm should be. So clearly has some kind of range with his vine capabilities.
As you're doing this, and Vol heads back to the kitchen, you can hear her shout at the two dwarves. The front door swings open, and 3 people walk in. The first is a middle-aged dwarven woman. Wearing a faded strip of blue around her waist, almost so you hardly notice it. She also wears form-fitting black leather armor and has a blade and a sheath on her belt, sort of tucked neatly away from sight, not ostentatiously displayed. With her are 2 young human men. Men is they're more like teenagers, late teenagers. One is tall and beefy. He's got like spiky hair, short spiky hair, and he's wearing flashy street clothes and a bright blue sash around his waist. And he's got a wicked looking club with a metal tip tied in a loop on his wrist, and he's tapping it in his hand. The third one comes in last. He's average size, a handsome boy in a boyish way with long blonde curls. He's also wearing a broad, bright blue slash and has a sap too, but his is on his belt. As they come in, Vol looks up and you hear all conversation in the back stop. And then Vol heads to meet them. Oh, Utia, you're here for the collection. And Utia would respond to Vol. I'm here to pick up the money for this month's protection. Vol. A bit of a bad news, though. Unfortunately, we're raising the rates again this month. And you can tell Utia looks kind of uncomfortable with this, right? Vol immediately loses it. Again? This is the 3rd time this year you've raised the rates. What?
Get you blood-sucking parasites. All you do is come in here and ask for money. It's how can I do business here?
And then the young man, the hot-headed one with spiky hair, steps forward and shoves Vol.
Watch what you say, lady.
And then Vol picks up a cleaver off the counter.
Yeah, at that point, you see a vine just kind of grab the wrist that's holding the cleaver. Vol, we don't need no problems here. If it's extra in value you need, I can give you any kind. I got a nice tawny port over there. Yeah, it's just wonderful. It just came from Pete, and he's been real happy lately
coming
too.
In here and asking for money again. Let me go, Bo. I'm gonna show this little upstart how to mind his manners.
You just get in the back and do it. I think they need help back there with the sausage. Don't you worry about a thing. I'll take care of it.
Oh, right, but just let your bosses know this is enough. I've had enough of this.
Utia, and Vol goes in the back. Utia steps up to Bo, looking somewhat embarrassed. Bo, I'm sorry about that. Orders is orders. I just collect the money. I know it's a bit of a pinch on the people in the neighborhood.
I know. I get it. It's everything's getting more expensive nowadays. We don't need no trouble, nothing like that. So, you said one goal, or I got, like I said, plenty of bottles if you're looking for something other. Because I hate to say it, but we've been strapped as well.
It is 1 more gold, if you will.
All right. Yeah. 1 second. You can kind of. Like a vine kind of comes out of like the midsection and kind of pulls out this little purse. He's literally pinching out the silvers to get to a gold.
And of course, there's the pouch with the money that Vol left on the counter. You push that over to Tia. She takes it and puts it in her pouch.
What do you got? Anything good for table wine this week?
What are you pairing it with?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking maybe you tell me what's good. Maybe I'd make a meal around it. No?
Oh, yeah. If you're looking for something maybe a little bit more earthy, maybe a little high in the tannins, something we could probably get you a nice Malbec. That would be great. It's got a little bit of a blueberry forward kind of thing.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, and the plant that grows it, Mary, she is wonderful. She's kind of right on the end, right where the sun hits it just right at the end of the day. So, it would be a wonderful Malbec for you.
Do me a favor, just set aside a bottle for me. I'll pick it up after I'm done collecting.
Oh, of course.
All right. Thank you very much, Bo. And apologies to Vol for the inconvenience of the increase in payment, but things are tight all over, I guess.
Yeah, I think you just got her at the wrong time. I'll talk to her about it and just try not to raise it anymore. I hate to say it. You're putting us in a bit of a spot here is all.
No, understand. And she pushes the 2 young men out. You can hear chide, the hot-headed one. I tell you what, never go for your sap. They're going to be angry. You just let them shout it out, and then you collect the money after. Sometimes they just need to shout out a little bit, all right? Just keep your hand. You don't want to make things worse. And then the door closes. Yeah, I guess we can leave things there with Bo heading back to his blackboard and rewriting that day's wines on the list. From there, we'll go to outside the restaurant, also on the square. Just our camera pans over to one shop over where there's a sign in front that says Lotions and Potions. Holly, do you want to describe this place?
Sure. It's a typical sort of 2 up, 2 down little place. And when you walk in, the front room has been converted into an apothecary. Very humble. There's a counter at the back with a few rows of shelves, some dried herbs in bottles, various liquids, that sort of thing. Behind that is a small kitchen, and then the family lives upstairs. So there's stairs going up the right side of the shop. It's very clean, but it's very plain. There's wooden floors are sort of worn and in need of refinishing, but they are meticulously swept. And the bottles are all polished and the labels facing forward, that sort of thing.
Our action takes place in the living area of this, in the kitchen, where we find Lysandra. Do you want to describe Lysandra to us?
Yes, Lysandra is an older human woman, tall, somewhat thin, frown lines, just looking perpetually disappointed, I think, is the best way to describe her.
Yeah, we find her at the kitchen, sort of packing up a bag with some of these potion bottles. There's a small table there in the kitchen that's laid with breakfast stuff, cheese, bread, maybe some sausage, probably some eggs, waiting. And as she's scuffling around, we see someone else come into the kitchen. This is your character now. I think I just want to make that clear, right? That Lysandra is not Holly's character, but here is Seraphina.
So Seraphina comes in. She's also a human woman. She's the daughter of Lysandra. She's, average height. She's quite pale skin, pretty thin. She looks tired, dark circles under her eyes which are pale blue. And her clothes are fairly simple. Think Ren Fair kind of tavern wench clothes, maybe not so saucy, but
yeah.
Typical long skirt. The hem has been patched a little bit. It's a little bit worn, but again, everything is very clean and tidy.
There you are. Finally, it was, anyways, breakfast is on the table. I have to run some errands. How did you sleep?
Not much, Mama. I'm sorry I was out late last night. Pashkan's labor went quite long and there was a lot of bleeding, so I think I'm going to need to bring some... I'm worried about her being anemic, so I need to bring her some nettles. Do we have any fresh?
Yes, we do have some nettles. It's a little short on supply. Maybe take just as much as you need, please. I know we have to re-up, but things are tight this month.
I'll try and go for it foraging later today.
Okay. Anything else you need?
Let's see.
Clean me out here.
She pulls out a little square of parchment. She says, "Well, I'm headed over to the foundry tenement today. Geetha Earthblade is due any day now. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes into labor later this week, so I'll bring some raspberry leaf tea for her. Also, Gunhild Mindelver, terrible morning sickness. Do we have any ginger?"
We do have some ginger, yes. Are these people planning on paying? I know you tend to favor customers that don't pay, but you do need to eat too. Remember, Seraphina?
Well, Mama, they pay how they can. I mean, just last week I brought home some eggs, that little farmstead out on the outskirts of town. They don't have a lot of coin, but they always do pay. And remember, remember Velma's husband came and fixed that leaky faucet that we had last week, so...
Yes, no, that's fine and good, dear, but we do need... Well, it's Protection Day. The Axis will come by, and pretty much they're taking my last silver. So, re-upping on some of these ingredients does cost money, and unfortunately we can't pay with a repaired door frame.
I understand, Mama. Unfortunately, I think these people are poor and they don't have the luxury of preventive medicine and good food.
All I'm asking is perhaps being a little more judicious in who you choose to treat. There are plenty of fine families on the north side of the Triangle Square that could pay with ready coin.
Well, I think they tend to hire the doctors because they can pay. This is maybe not such a good time to mention it, but I was going to bring some supplies over to Shepard over at Jacobson's Cakes.
Yes. There is a bottle of potion of healing you can take. Just the one, though, mind you.
Thanks. And then I'll just need some willow bark tincture and some yarrow and maybe some calendula salve.
That's fine. We are a little short on yarrow, but the others, we have plenty of that. That's fine. You can take that. And again, though, I know that, what's his name? That back alley doctor friend of yours. I know he doesn't have much money, but perhaps he can scrape up a couple of coppers if you let him know that these materials aren't free.
Yes, Mama. Where's Echo? Is she out and about already?
She was up an hour ago and left. That girl, she is so wild. How 5 years old and running the streets by herself. I strongly disapprove of this.
Well, she's high-spirited and, she's very bright and she gets bored easily. And I do the best I can with teaching her things, but it's just been a really busy few weeks, and I'll try to spend some time with her today. And
the neighbors are taught she runs around in long pants, barefoot, and just talking with strangers. And you know how it is. I know it's safe here in the neighborhood, but speaking of which, she pushes a pouch across the counter. I have to go, but the axes should be here any minute now. Could you please pay this month's protection bill?
Oh, sure, Mama. I'm happy to.
All right. Remember what I said, just the one healing potion.
Okay.
All right. And she packs up and frowns, looks at the table as you sit down. Oh, there's coffee on the stove. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention.
Oh, thank you. I need it.
Look like you do, yes. And then she leaves the store, and Seraphina, I imagine, settles down to the eggs, probably with a big sigh of relief that her mom is out of the store, right? I imagine.
Definitely. And she is also eyeing the bottle of healing potion that's been left and wondering if she could get away with maybe taking 2. Kind of hovers her hand over another bottle before she puts the first one in her bag and then decides against it.
So at this moment, the door opens, a little bell tingles, ding-a-ling-a-ling, and you see again the familiar 3 figures of Utia and her sidekicks. Utia comes up to the counter, says, "Good morning to you, Seraphine. I'm here to collect, but I'm afraid I've got some bad news. The rates have gone up again this month. We'll need an extra gold from Lotions and Potions."
And if possible, Seraphina goes even more pale than she already was. She hands over the gold that her mother left and says, "Okay, hi, Utia. Let me see what I can get from the till." And she goes to the till, opens it up, and there's a few silver in there, but not enough. So she says, "Okay, hold on one moment." She goes to her cloak and rummages through and manages to find a few, coppers in there, goes to her supply bag, manages to make up the rest of the gold with what's in there. "Oh, hi, Liam. How is your little sister's rash doing?"
"Oh, hello, Seraphina. It's doing great. Thank you for bringing that over the other day. It's cleared up."
"Great. I tell your mother if she needs anything else to stop by. She can speak to my mother about it."
"Thank you very much, Ms. Seraphina." And with that, Utia takes the pouch, nods to you, and leaves the building. Liam and the other, we'll call him Shay, in tow. At this point, you would pack up, right? You're headed out.
Yeah, she's heading out on her rounds. Probably leaves out a little snack for Echo if she comes back before Seraphina does. Packs up her bag and grabs her cloak and walks out.
How many potions? Healing potions? does
She thinks about taking 2, but she only takes 1.
All right. So our camera will follow Seraphina as she exits out the front of Lotions and Potions. She'll walk around the narrow pedestrian way in front of the shops and stores that line the edge of Triangle Square. Cobbler shops, dry goods, tailors, door makers, an undertaker. Notably, there's a big tavern called the Room in the Pillar, where you can already see the first shift workers, mostly dwarven, getting their breakfast ale. And then 1 or 2 buildings after that, she comes to Jacobson's Cakes, which is a low-slung, prettily painted wooden building with a nice garden on the sides, some planted trees or wooden tables in front, kind of like picnic tables. And you can see more of these first shift workers eating meat pies and drinking coffee. This is basically a bakery, the main bakery and sort of lunch place of the neighborhood. We follow Seraphina. She doesn't go inside Jacobson Cakes. She takes a path on the side of this building, following it to the back. And there in the back, there are several awnings set up. And this back area is kind of like not a little plaza, but like a little backyard abutting on a wide alley. So it's a wide space, probably brick lined on the ground. There's a long table set up here, and a middle-aged woman is putting a stack of tin bowls and spoons out on this table. And waiting in the back of the alley are a dozen or so clearly homeless people dressed in rags and looking like they slept out overnight outside. Mostly dwarves and orcs. Many of them have mangled limbs or severe burn scars, which Seraphina would know are former workers who have been injured at the foundry. There is a man in the corner attending to a dwarf with a wooden leg. Nate, would you like to describe this man?
Yeah, so Shepherd, human male, sun-drenched skin, piercing blue eyes, and he's wearing tattered robes that have been patchwork stitched together time and time again. He's tending to the dwarf with the peg leg, who himself is sitting atop a cobbled together stool. Looks like the two are quite familiar with each other.
Yeah. Oh, man, my leg is killing me. You know how it is.
Yes, Biney, I know you need to take care of this thing a little bit better.
Oh, I try. Believe me, Shep, I try.
Well, let's take a look. Shepherd goes to unwrap the crusted bandages at the end of the stump.
You know how it was. I found a silver riverbank, and me and Alfie thought, hey, why not celebrate over down by the docks? We got a cheap pint of gin and put some money on the table, and our number came up. So, you know how we had more drinks, and just one thing led to the next. And next thing I know, I'm waking up under the bridge with my leg hurt me something fierce.
Not nodding along, listening to the story, Shepherd carefully unbandages his leg, notices the blisters and the cracking skin under an ill-kept bandage, probably never changed out since the last time he saw Biney. Really ought to make sure you at least change out the soaked rags for something new. Keep it dry and clean.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely going to do that. Absolutely.
Ripping off a chunk of his patchwork cloak at the hem, he takes out a old dusty bottle with the wax seal already broken, remnants of acrid wine turned vinegar sloshing in the bottom of it, uncorks it and soaks the rag and gently blots at the stump, trying to clear away some of accumulation, let's call it.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Just then we'll say that Seraphina comes up, right? Because this is the man Seraphina is bringing these supplies to.
Good morning, Shepherd. How are you?
Great day to you. Always a pleasure seeing you.
Hey, Fina.
You too. Hello, Biney. I brought you some supplies, Shepherd. I think you're probably running low by now.
The generosity of you and your mother knows no bounds. The city owes the two of you a great debt.
Yeah. My mother reminded me about that this morning. Here you go. And she starts unloading her bag, stacking the various pouches and tins and bottles next to Shepherd.
As she does that, Shepherd will withdraw an old, now empty tin, scraped clean, from many, many applications to as many people as he could spread it thin between, with the classic L and P emblazoned on the top of it. He'll take a bit of scrap and take the 2 coppers that he has, wind them in the cloth and put them in the tin before putting it into the pile that Seraphina's building.
Did Seraphina see him do that, or did he do that on the down low?
He would have tried to do it as subtly as possible. He knows that the generosity is something that the city will never be able to repay in coin, but he does the best he can without trying to make a show of it.
Well, she knows he's doing his best and is very proud about it, and wouldn't want to be called out and have attention drawn to him, so she just pretends she doesn't see it. But she said, "Thank you very much, Shepherd. We appreciate the ability to recycle these tins, so I will clean it out real well and we'll reuse it for next time."
Much appreciated. What all did you bring today?
Well, I have this calendula salve, which if you're treating some wounds, it kind of looks like Biney might need some of that on his stump there. And then some willow bark tincture for any fevers or pain, and some yarrow if someone's bleeding. That helps just kind of pack that on the wound there.
Excellent. It'll all be put to very good use here. Again, thank you for everything.
I'm
Past and
here to
present.
help.
Tell your mom I said hi.
I will, Biney. I'm sure she returns the greeting.
I love a good scold, you know. It just drives me crazy.
Shepard cracks a smile as he opens the new tin of salve and applies it to the deep
Ooh.
cracks in the stump.
Oh, that smarts a bit.
Afterwards, he'll wrap what he can of the stump and help fit Viney's prosthetic leg back on as best he can.
Oh, thanks a lot, Shep. I owe you everything. Thanks, man. This is it. I heard there's some programs over at Caden Kaleen's temple. I'm gonna clean up this time.
Yeah, best of luck to you, Viney.
Yeah. I'm sure you won't see much more of me here. And
Yeah.
he sort of limps off out of this back area. Just then, we see, I guess, some citizens from the town come and help set up back here, and then a large orc wearing like a baker's apron comes out carrying a pot of stew. You know, this is Yoel Jacobson, the owner, the proprietor, the co-proprietor of Jacobson's Cakes with his wife Esmeralda. He comes out with this pot and puts it down on the back table, and you can see all the people begin to line up in the back. All right, come get it. And the volunteers who've come to help sort of dole it out. You know, people are quietly eating around the area. And then he heads back in. A few minutes later, we see the familiar trio of axes come around the back, looking a little nervous. And then Utia whispers to the worker who's behind, this middle-aged woman who's behind the table, and she goes in and brings out Esmeralda, the wife of Yoel Jacobson. This woman is, I don't think I mentioned how large Yoel was. He's like 6'6", like this enormous guy, an orc. His nose looks like it's been broken 6 or 7 times. He's got scars on his face. People suspect he was not always a baker in his past, but he's kind of mysterious, enigmatic figure. His wife is human. She is unusually large for a human woman, over 6 feet, enormous, like broad-chested, shouldered. Maybe he's put on some weight over the years, whatever, like very, very solid-looking woman. She comes out, crosses her arms, and frowns at Utia. And then you can hear Utia, speak in Sado voice to her, right? Trying not to attract attention. And then Esmeralda just snaps back. You dare ask more money from us? Look at us. Look around you. Do you think we have much money to spare? Every single extra copper we have goes back into the community. We don't have that much money to fill the pockets of the axes now, do we? No, take it easy now, Esmeralda. It's just an extra 5 silver a month. We're already charging you less than the other stores because of the good work. I don't want to hear any more of this. We are done. And you see Shay, again, this hot-headed young man, sort of creep up to the table, gripping and re-gripping his sap. And the younger blonde-haired boy kind of pulls him back and whispers to him. And they all look around nervously as they're surrounded by a crowd of hostile faces, right? And just then, Yoel comes out of the back door. What's going on here? He says. And Esmeralda says, they're asking for more money yet again, Yoel. And I think we are done paying. And she turns around and walks back into the bakery. Utia looks at Yoel with pleading eyes. You've got to pay. Yoel, you know this. Just 5 more silver. That's all we're asking. And Yoel looks down at Utia and back over his shoulder into the bakery. You heard what my wife said. We're not paying a copper more. I think we're done here. And Utia responds, please, you've got to pay. You don't know what you're doing. You've got to, everyone pays. Everyone's got to pay. We're done. And then Utia just turns and walks out of the courtyard. Everyone is silent, staring at Yoel. And then
They start talking and eating and going back to things, and you all just begins cleaning up the table, going on as normal. And we're going to shift our focus here from Shepard to another person who is working behind the table, doling out the soup as a volunteer. Do you want to describe who that is, John?
Well, this is Marth. Marth is a young gentleman. He's got kind of that boyish charm. The hair is jet black. It's just short enough that you can still call it short hair, but long enough that it's any more and he would be, that in-between place. He's got pretty pale skin. He wears a bright blue tunic, some tan canvas pants, a leather jerkin, has dark sunglasses on that kind of hide the eyes. If you're looking at him from a distance, he just looks like, a guy that could use a little more sun. If you look at him a little closer, though, you might notice he's actually a race that is called fetchling, that the race itself is devoid of all forms of color. So naturally, he would have very white skin and has green glow to his eyes. But he layers just enough foundation to kind of keep people from freaking out. He wears the glasses not so that he can hide from people, but just so that he doesn't automatically off-put them.
So you all will come up to Marth and say, well, Marth, I think we're done here. Thanks for coming down today. You're free to go. I appreciate the help as always.
Of course, Yold. Anytime. I love it here. But are you sure you're going to be okay?
Oh, what do you mean by that? We'll be fine. We're doing well.
I don't know, man. The axes are nothing to mess around with. Do you want I can maybe talk to some people? We could go through some, back channels, see if we can work something out?
No. It'll be fine. I mean, maybe they'll smash a window or something, but they'll get over it. We're fine. Don't worry about us. We can handle ourselves.
I sure hope so. Well, I guess same time tomorrow?
Sure, if you want.
All right, I gotta go do some more work on the school. So I'll see you guys later, okay?
Your help is always appreciated, Marth.
So now we'll follow Marth as he leaves Jacobson's Cake. Unlike our previous characters, he does not stay on Triangle Square. Instead, he heads almost directly south into the tenements. And almost immediately, he goes into the narrow alleys. The sun kind of blots out. He's in shadow. You can hear echoes as these brick buildings create these very narrow alleys he goes down. You can hear sort of in the background the typical sounds of very crowded areas, some laughter, some crying, maybe a shout or two. There's laundry strung out on clotheslines between the buildings over his head. Also on the ground in the alley, there are piles of garbage and some sewage running down the center of the area. Marth seems to pick his way through this maze of alleys almost unthinkingly. You can see him as he just sort of drifts through this place without concern, lost in thought, until he comes to an irregular shaped courtyard of sorts and heads for a short, squat granite building with scaffolding on it, and steps through an empty door frame and into a hall. There's buckets and timber and tools and paint spread out. Clearly, this is a place where it's under construction. And he heads down this hall until he sees, I guess I would describe it best as a goon. It's like a Sixth Ward man, like one of those longshoremen who work nights, chasing down gambling debts on commission. This big, hard, misshapen man with a busted nose, maybe a cauliflower ear, wearing a nice gentleman's suit that's a size or two too small for him. And as you come down the hall, he looks up at you and he's probably got like a cigar, out the corner of his mouth he takes out. It's not even lit. It's just like a stump, right? And he says to you, "Boss is waiting."
Thanks, Gary. I head on in.
You want to describe your office to the world?
Yeah, as we come on in, this is, think of almost like a noir private detective type of office where you have a small, very small reception area with just like a couple chairs and a desk. Behind that, you see a door that has like the marbled glass on it. It's written Hammer City Community Care Commission. If you go past that door, it comes into an office that has, a large desk one chair on each side. The desk is covered with different schematics for what would be the first public school in Hammer City. It has tons of bureaucratic work like permits and bids from commissioners. There are filing cabinets against the wall that are just overstuffed with papers. There are 2 doors off of the office. One side is just a simple, very simple bathroom that, sink basin, a kind of one of the early toilets with the tank that's way high up on the wall, a mirror, foundation, and a towel. That's about all there is. And the other side is almost as bare, where it's a door that leads into what most would call a closet, but Marth calls his bedroom. There's just a simple cot, dresser, and a lantern. And that is literally all there is in there.
So as you go into the anteroom, however, this time you see 2 more of these goons. They're sitting in the window, which has been thrust open. One of them is chewing tobacco and spitting his tobacco juice into your favorite coffee mug. And they nod at you and sort of gesture towards your office. And you open the door and find at your desk a bigger man still than these goons, if that's possible, sprawled out on your chair, feet up on the table, also smoking a cigar, using another of your favorite coffee mugs as an ashtray. This man, however, is different in that his suit fits him. It's splashy. He's got, for example, an embroidered flowered waistcoat and a big diamond pin on his lapel. He is an enormous man. He's got a beard. And as you come in, this is, of course, Boss Hatchet, the local councilman of Ward 7, your neighborhood. He looks up at you. He's reading some of your paperwork. He puts it down and he greets you. Hello there, Marth. How's it going?
Mr. Hatchet.
Yes.
A surprise to see you, but a welcome surprise. I got so many things that I'd love to go over with you. Progress is going so well. We've got these different bids set up here.
Yes. You can tell. We can catch up on that later. But things are going well, though. Any problems or delays? Maybe I can help you with.
I mean, I'm getting the runaround when it comes to some of these building permits.
Oh, yeah. Sure, I can help you with that. Just write down here who you're working with in the permit office, and we can clear that up.
That'd be great. Thanks.
And he tosses like a little notepad to you. Just write the names down there. Oh, by the way, I got a favor to ask you.
Yeah, sure. Of course, anything.
So I know there's an open bid on the initial construction. I want you to use, there's a friend of mine who has a company I need you to use. It's called Black Hammer Construction.
Black Hammer? I don't think I even got a bid.
Oh, they're
from
new.
them.
They're new, brand new. Just a friend of a friend is starting up a business. They're great. They're all experienced guys. It's going to be great. Reasonable prices. Just hire them, would you?
Yeah, I guess so.
No. Don't make it a guess. You know it. I've saved you some time. I've got you these guys. Hire them. We won't have any problems with those permits. I promise you.
Sure thing, Mr. Hatchet. Whatever you need.
All right. If you need anything else, just let me know. Any, I assumed you jotted down those names on the memo.
I did indeed.
He'll rip that off and stick that in his pocket. Tap his cigar one last time into the mug. Yeah, if you have any other problems, like I said, come see me. All right, take care. And he leaves the office, slamming the door behind him, leaving a scent behind him of very cheap cologne.
Okay. Black Hammer. God, I swear that name sounds familiar. And he starts just filing through all of his different papers, trying to find certain things. God, this is gonna bug me. Maybe Sammy has some insight. And he heads on out the door.
All right. So again, our camera will follow our protagonist here, deeper still into the tenements, further south, and it gets, if possible, even more squalid and overrun. There are now we see children sort of playing in the alleys in the filth and muck. We see people hanging out of windows. They all seem to know Marth and nod to him when he goes by. And then suddenly we come to an open space in the tenement that looks, in comparison, almost like a like paradise, like this beautiful little garden area, but really it's a tidy 2-story brick structure with just a couple of scraggly trees next to it and a patch of grass. And in the grass is a dilapidated seesaw. Inside, we hear the sound of children's laughter. And this is the building that Marth enters. We follow Marth into the building. There's a reception area in front. The woman looks up and says, "Hey, Marth, she's up on the second floor in the laundry room."
Thanks. I'll go find her. You doing all right?
Everything's great. You got, thanks for that donation the other day. It really helped.
Hey, man, of course.
You lope up the stairs. You find the laundry room. You open the door, and inside you see Sammy. Give me a description of what this person looks like.
Sammy is the quintessential little Spitfire. She's got, maybe 4'11" at most. She's got, the flaming red hair, big curls that maybe add like another 2 inches to her height, freckles covering everything. In the summer, you imagine those freckles connect to pretend to be a tan. Young, full of energy, doesn't seem to stop moving ever.
Marth, what's up? How you doing? Just got to fold these here. Take this. And she shoves some fitted sheet into your hands. Fold this up, will you? You're always good at this.
All right. Marth just immediately takes it, heads into action, folding it up. Hey, Sammy, do you remember a group called Black Hammer?
Black Hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, here. Just a minute. And she'll shove like a stack of folded laundry into your arms. Come on with me. Let's go. And she heads down the stairs down to almost like a, how would you call it? Like not a parlor area, but a pantry area, and opens up a cupboard, and there's just stacks of sheets there. Here, put it. You know where this goes. Here, up there. Come on, put it. There you go. There you go. You got to work out some more, man. Listen.
Look, I got other things going on. I'm working out my connections for you.
Yeah.
Don't
whatever.
you worry about these arms. They're going to hold up just fine.
Come with me. I got to go down the boiler room. There's something wrong with the boiler. Let me check this out. Black Hammer, you say, huh?
Yeah. Hatchet. He wants me to use them, and there's something about it that's like nagging at the back of my head, and I can't remember.
Yeah, if Hatchet wants it, it's Black Hammer. I remember them. And then you're following her down the stairs. She opens up the door of the boiler room. Hang on a second. I remember them. Just give me a second. She goes over to the boiler. Grab me a wrench from the tool room, would you?
Yeah, you got it. Do you want the like toothed one, or do you just want like the hex one?
Well, it's for this this bolt here has been sticking. Give me the tooth one.
All right, here.
All right. And you see she puts two here, give me a hand. This is the two, it's going to take the two of us to get this. And you and Sammy together, like, and finally the bolt breaks. She's able to unscrew it. Black Hammer, yeah, they're the guys who you remember they did the fountain renovation in Triangle Square, the one that they had to redo. You remember that?
The fountain that didn't work at all?
Yes, that's the guys. They're I don't know. They're somebody's brother-in-law that gets juicy city contracts. You know the type.
Yeah, I do. I got a million different bids from people like that. But that's not... This is important work. We need... Oh, man, what am I going to do here?
I mean, you know how the neighborhood is. You got to use Black Hammer, eh? If Hatchet told you to. I mean, if you don't, you'll never get it done. You'll just be, you'll get lost in red tape and you'll never get the school built.
I mean, listen to you. Aren't I usually the one that's having to tell you that we play by the rules games and change it from inside?
Oh, speaking of which, I have something to show you. Come with me.
All right.
And she pads down this utility hall to a door at the end of the hall. Do you remember this? Do you remember this door?
Do I remember this door? Where did we spend most of our time, if not, in, Mother Superior's office?
Yeah. No. We would come down here, you remember, and hang out on the other side of this door. There was that weird, creepy hall that was all dark and smelly, you remember? And we would sit there for hours and we would talk. You remember that?
Of course I remember that.
And you remember how when they caught us and Mother Superior boarded it up?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
that just made it even better, though. Like,
yeah, well, I took the boards off. And she opens the door. Do you remember? Let's go inside and sit down now. And the two of you head in there and you close the door and you sit down in the corridor in the dark. And I imagine you're probably just quiet, listening to each other breathe.
He just kind of leans over, like they're both sitting against the wall. He just kind of puts head on Sammy's shoulder. They're like, this was everything back in the day. Get that escape from like the madness, get a little bit of like quiet, a little bit of think, a little bit of freedom. Pretend that, it wasn't the orphanage. It was, just us hanging out.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to leave this open and let kids find it,
Oh my God. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Like it, because, there's that element of danger that's what made it so great was we found it and nobody like knew about it. Man.
Shh. Let's just sit in the dark gotta go, but just for 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
And then we just leave those two in the dark in this little corridor. We're going to cut back to Jacobson's Cakes a few hours later. We see the woman who was helping, the worker who was helping with the soup kitchen in the back of Jacobson's Cakes. You see her in the bakery area, and she takes off her apron and starts heading out the door. And she shouts out to Yald, Yald, I'm going to be leaving now. And Yald sticks his head out of the back door and says, "Oh, Blair, take a couple of those honey cakes for the kids. I know how much they love them." "Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe I'll take a third for the old man." "Oh, yeah, of course. Take as many as you want." And you see Blair go over to the counter and take 3 honey cakes out and wrap them in wax paper and stick them in her bag. And she heads out of Jacobson's Cakes. Instead of going south, Blair heads north through Triangle Square, which at this moment you see there are a bunch of market stalls and stuff set up in the square. They're now being packed up. People are starting to head out. Normally the farmers set up and stay all day in the square. There's also, as we follow Blair across this area, we see like little garden areas and little park areas with benches and maybe some playing fields, that kind of thing. It's not a huge square, but there's a lot packed into it and a lot of people use it, and it's quite busy. Now, as we pass through Triangle Square and head out the north side, we see that the shops and whatnot on this side of the square are much, higher class or whatever. You can see that, they make suit jackets, the tailors, things like that. It is for a slightly wealthier demographic. And sure, as we pass and follow Blair, passing through those initial row of stores on the edge of Triangle Square, we see that the houses behind are, they're individual houses. They're not tenements anymore. They're little single family dwellings, little cottages, still very small, tiny little gardens, but each of them are immaculate. They're well kept up. And this woman would come into one of these buildings. She'd let herself in, and we follow her inside to kitchen, where we see an ancient gnome woman in the kitchen. And Blair says to this woman, "Hello, Kvek. Thanks for your work today. Do you think you need anything else for tomorrow?" And Kvek, the servant of this little family, would look up at Blair and say, "Yes, I would love if you could get a chicken. I will make you a stew for later this week, and there is a stew up now. It should be pretty fresh, although maybe only 1 or 2 meals, whatever, and the laundry is clean and folded in the sitting room." "Oh, thank you, Quek. I'll send Kira for that chicken just now." And Kvek nods and gives her doubtful look, "All right," and then heads out. And we follow Blair. She'll put down her things, and go over to a door and start knocking on it. Kira, are you in there?"
Mom, what?
Kira, can I come in?
Mom, come in.
Do you want to describe Kira and her room and what she's doing as her mom knocks on it?
So as the door opens, you see Kira quickly. She was laying on her stomach, writing in a journal, but she quickly sits up, tucks the journal under her pillow, and kind of crosses her legs awkwardly. So she's a teenager, She's medium build, kind of toned, but gangly in that awkward teenager way. Her room has pictures hung up on the walls, clothes shoved under the bed in drawers. Yeah, and she's just irritated at being interrupted. Mom, what do you want?
Kira, I don't know if you've been inside all day, whatever, but I need you to go buy a chicken from the marketplace across the street real quick.
We always have chicken. I'm sick of chicken.
Beck makes chicken stew. That's her main thing she makes. I know you're tired of it, but we eat really well in this family, and I'm tired of hearing you complaining about the food that we put on the table for you.
Fine, Mom, fine.
Oh,
Can I have
sorry.
extra money
Long day.
for like a treat or something at least?
Sure. Here's a silver piece.
And Kira kind of hops off the bed with a little more excitement than you usually see in a teenager and quickly snatches the money out. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. And Kira will head out of the house towards the market on Triangle Square when she is intercepted by someone, a handsome young man with long blonde hair and a bright blue sash around his waist, which he clearly is proud of. And he'll, oh, Kira.
Hi, Liam. Are you done with work today?
Yes, we were very busy today. We were doing some very important work.
I bet.
Anyways, look, I don't mean to hold you up, but I got you something.
Me?
Yeah, no, it's just that, I'm making a little money, whatever. It's nothing really that big. And he, from underneath his sash, he pulls out a little music box and he hands it to you and says, there you go. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. And he runs
Liam,
off.
Wait, I have something for you too. And she pulls out a little piece of paper from her pocket and it's folded up kind of hastily. And she just hands it to him and then quickly walks off before he reads it in front of her.
He just blushes from the roots of his hair, just turns beet red and runs off with this note in his hand. He shoves it in his pocket and looks completely embarrassed. Are we allowed to know what's in the note?
Well, it's a poem, but I am not going to share the creative. It rhymes. She's a very good writer.
Okay.
She writes frequently. So it's a love poem.
You got to share this later.
Yes.
It's her homework, Diana.
Okay.
And then just as Liam runs off, you hear another voice, this young woman, your age, sitting on a stoop. Ew, he must be crazy. Ew, you and Liam? Gross.
What do you want, Lark?
Oh, I want to clean my eyes out with bleach. Ew.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I look at you too.
Oh, God, I can't believe the two of you are going to be. Ew, I can't. It's so gross. Liam's such a nice boy. Why would he ever think of. Ugh, gross.
Are you jealous, Lark?
Jealous? Ew. No. Liam, forget about it. He's so uncool. He's so yesterday. Ew, do you see his hair? Oh, my God.
I'm not going to even waste any more time. I have important things to do. Have a good night.
Oh, maybe you could do me one favor.
What?
He's like, his friend is super hot, that Shay guy. Maybe you could, put in a good word for me.
So we can go on double dates? No, thank you.
No, ew, double dates? Ew, get out of here. Ew.
Kira just keeps walking off towards the chicken stall. Wherever she gets chickens.
Sure. So she would head off to the marketplace, find like your usual chicken stall. They probably have a line of chickens hanging from a string, and you're like, whatever. And they gives you a chicken. And as you head back, you are intercepted yet again, this time by another familiar character from our show, Biney, who limps up. He's leading a man on a horse. And Biney is probably someone you know in passing. He knows everybody in the neighborhood. But this man on the horse is a complete stranger, yet utterly fascinating to Kira. He is a middle-aged man, probably in his 40s, weathered-looking beard. He's wearing a cloak with his hood up, and the cloak is extremely weathered. And he's also wearing garb that's kind of, I don't know, you'd find from, like a ranger out in the woods, useful boots. And he's got, you can see the pommel of a longsword by his side, sort of discreetly tucked away under his cloak. But the pommel is simple and unadorned, but clearly well worn. And immediately your sort of adventurous, romantic sense of the world is alerted by this guy, right? This is like, Lord of the Rings guy, Strider or whatever. Oh, there she is. Oh, Kira, hey, we're looking for the fox lady, the one who takes care of all the, finds things and in the neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
your friend,
Penelope.
right? Oh yeah. Could you go get Penelope for us? This man wants to talk to her. He's got a job for her.
Oh, I mean, I can get her, but maybe I could help with the job.
Oh no, they want a professional, Kira. You know how it is. You're just, this is an important job.
All right, I get it. I'll go get her. Stay right here. I'll be right back.
All right, I told you. And he looks up at the guy. You won't regret this. She's great. This fox lady, Penelope, whatever.
Kira bolts off. She kind of crosses the street, goes into an alley, goes past another street, finds another alley, and quickly looks around to make sure nobody's following her, nobody else is there with her. And she hunkers down behind whatever boxes and rubbish are behind the alley, and she starts to transform into a fox. Here is a kitsune. So her fox she's still standing up like a humanoid, but she looks exactly like a fox. I forgot to mention, Kira has almost shiny black hair, but then she has a very prominent white streak down. When she changes into her fox form, she looks similar. She still has that prominent black hair, but she's got a white streak. And how nobody has put two and two together, she doesn't know. She doesn't care. But she quickly runs back to Viney and his friend. And as she turns the road where they are, she kind of changes her swagger to a little more confident stroll, walking up to them.
Oh, here she comes.
Somebody called for me?
The man on the horseback looks Penelope up and down and then turns to Viney and says, yes, I think you've done much better than you realize, Viney. And he tosses him 5 silver coins. I think you deserve a little bit of a bonus here. And he takes out a silver flask. You're a fan of fine brandy. I think you're a drinking man, aren't you, Viney? Viney says, oh, yeah, and reaches up for the flask. And the man says, and pulls it back and says, remember, Viney, no one knows about this, okay? You have to keep this absolutely secret. And Viney says, yeah, sure. Reaches out his hand. The man puts the flask in it. And Viney limps off, opening the flask and drinking from it. You can just beams, his face lights up. So, Penelope.
You could just call me Pen.
Pen. Listen, I've got a job for you.
I'm listening.
But there's one condition. Discretion.
Discretion's the name of the game.
Of course it is.
I wouldn't still be in business if I couldn't keep things to myself.
I just need to, I understand between professionals, that's an understood part, but I just need to emphasize that no one, absolutely no one can know this word. Can't tell your lover, and he looks at you, like you can't tell whether he knows what the story is or not. Your lover, your parents, your best friend, your some random drunk on the street, nobody can know about this job.
If you're trying to get hints on the community I keep around me, I assure you it's very small. But you don't need to tell me twice. If we want to talk about obvious statements, we can talk about how foolish it is to give somebody like Viney more alcohol. But I digress. What is the task you need me to do?
Okay. Excellent. Well, first, I want to let you know this is a very well-paying job. To emphasize, as we said, the discretion. I'll give you a goal to start with, and if you successfully complete this job, I'll pay you some total of 50 gold.
She doesn't even bat an eye, even though inside she's thinking about everything she can spend this gold on.
Yeah. And we should mention in Pathfinder world, 50 gold is a lot of money. Her parents, both of whom have decent jobs, probably don't earn 50 gold in a year. So here's the job. I need you to track down somebody. I think they're in the region of Triangle Square. And I need you to tell me everything about them, how they spend their time, their schedule, who they live with, what their relations are, who their friends are, what they do for fun, everything.
Who is this person?
It's a woman by the name of Seraphina. I understand she may be a midwife.
Okay. And you just want information on her, that's it?
Just what I said. I just need to know where she lives, who she lives with, who her friends are, what her schedule is, everything.
Consider it done. Am I finding you after I'm done?
Let's say we'll set up a meeting place in Triangle Square.
That chicken stall. Maybe we can meet over there in a week's time, about the same time.
So he referenced the chicken stall. Does Kira get any impression that he recognized her and is aware of her identity, or it's just an ironic coincidence?
Give me a perception check. We'll do our first roll
First
on minus
roll.
20.
Let's go.
No pressure.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
It is, well, it's a 15 plus 5, so unnatural 20.
Natural 20. You think maybe he understands what the deal is and maybe isn't actually impressed by it.
I wouldn't give any of that away in my expression. I try to keep a neutral face.
Yeah.
Well, if you think of anything else in the meantime, you know how to find me.
I'll leave a note with the chicken man.
I'll see you in a week. And I kind of dip my head in saluting.
He turns his horse around. As he does, you see underneath his jerkin a flash of metal as he's wearing a chain shirt, and he rides away.
I have my chicken. I have some work for the next week.
Yeah.
So I will go back to a different alley, kind of cross the street again, different way.
Yeah.
Again, find a secluded alley and then shift back into my human form and then make my way back home to deliver my chicken.
All right. Is there anything you want to do to track down this woman right away?
So I would like to do a check to gather information.
See if you remember who
Yeah.
Seraphina is. Perfect.
If I know who Seraphina is, have I heard that name?
So we should say here that your build, typically a gather information, is in Pathfinder turns an exploration activity where you use the diplomacy skill to see if you can get some information. But your character can use society instead of diplomacy, right? All right. So go ahead and make me that check. Go ahead and make me a society check, please. This is a secret check.
I did it out in the open. Should I re-roll it?
Yeah, re-roll it.
Okay. I'm going to do a blind GM roll.
Blind GM roll in Foundry. So you do remember something. One of your friend's older sister named Bethany recently gave birth, and you think maybe she used a midwife named Seraphina.
So I will head to Bethany's house. It's close enough, right? I can stop there before I bring the chicken
It's like
home?
2 doors down.
Okay,
It's,
great.
yeah, it's super close. So you go to this cottage, knock on the door, open it up, and Bethany comes out with a little baby on her hip. Says, "Oh, Kira, how are you? I'm sorry, Emily isn't home right now."
Oh, that's okay. I actually came to see you, Bethany.
Oh, okay.
Who
What can I help you with?
was the doctor or nurse or whoever that helped you when you gave birth?
Oh, interesting. Sarah. Well, her name is Seraphina. Definitely recommend her.
Yeah. Where does she live?
Oh, that's so great! Congratulations. Who's the boy?
Oh, no.
Are you getting? Is this? I mean, you're pretty young, though.
No,
Did
yeah.
you tell your parents yet?
It's not for me. I swear.
Oh, no. Yes. Of course. Not for you. Yes, Seraphina. Yeah, she and she winks at you. Not for you. And Seraphina, oh yeah, Triangle Square someplace. I can't remember exactly where it was. She used to come here though. Don't remember how you can get in touch with her though.
That's okay. I'll look around. Again, not for me, but thank you. I appreciate
Do you want me
your
to
time.
ask around for you or
No.
or
Don't
you want to keep
bother.
this on the I can do it on the down low.
No, I appreciate your time. But please do not tell anybody what you think you know.
Of course. But, I know it's a confusing time and there'll be a lot of changes to your body. So if you have any questions, you can always come to me, okay?
Kira looks visibly uncomfortable and equal parts disgusted. Thanks, Bethany. I'll see you later. And she just starts walking away.
Just then, you hear a voice peep up. Oh, hi. And there's a little girl wearing kind of dusty, raggedy clothes, barefoot, hair, just a tangle. What's going on? What are you doing?
Nothing. Who are
She's
you?
sitting on a fence post or something, kicking her legs. I'm just watching you going around asking a lot of questions.
What does that have to do with you?
I heard you want to find somebody named Seraphina.
You should know that listening to other people's conversations isn't polite.
I'm not very polite. What's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Kira.
Kira, Kira, Kira.
What's your name?
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
I have a joke for you.
I have a joke for you, joke for you, joke for you.
Pete and Repeat went on a boat. Pete fell off. Who was left?
Who was left?
All right. Have a good night. And I
No,
just start
stop.
walking away.
It's a game, dork. You're supposed to try to guess my name based off the clues I'm giving you.
Annoying?
It's not annoying. My name is Echo.
Oh,
You get it?
yeah.
Get it? Get it? Get it?
I give an awkward, half grin, I don't want to smile at it, but it's kind of funny.
It's very funny. Listen, you're looking for Serafina.
Do you know her?
I do know her.
How do you know her?
That's between me and my own brain.
Can you tell me anything about her?
I can tell you where she is. I hear you're looking for her.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
She helps a lot of girls.
Yes, I would love her help.
Great. And you got a piece of paper?
Yes?
Here, you got a pencil?
Yes?
And she gets out paper and pencil and she draws you a map and she writes lotions and potions on it in very childish script. An X is spelled probably wrong with the S backwards. She writes like adults imagine 5-year-olds to write. Right. And then has an X on the triangle square. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know right next to a restaurant named Le Liane. Right? It's a spaghetti place. It's really good. And sometimes they feed me out the back, although they never let me have any of the wine that Bo makes.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've been a huge help for me, and information usually is worth something. So here you go. Kira digs in her pocket and pulls out a copper piece and gives it to Echo.
Echo takes the copper piece, looks at it, holds it up to the light, and then bites it. Oh, it's real. And then she'll run off.
Thank you.
Bye. I'll see you later.
I better get this chicken home. I try to look at her note and I can read lotions and potions, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually rip it up and just kind of sprinkle some where I am, move 10 feet, sprinkle a little more, and then make my way back home.
All right. And then imagine you're planning to wait until later to go out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. After dinner, after everybody goes to bed, I have a countdown for how long after I hear the last noise in the house before I change into fox form and sneak out my window. And I'm going to make my way to Triangle Square and see if I can just identify where her home is.
Yeah.
It's late enough. I don't expect her to still be awake or anything, but I always do my first scouting when I know there won't be a lot of people around.
Yeah.
I'd make my way over to the Triangle Square, try to find lotions and potions.
Yeah, it doesn't take you long. You slip through Triangle Square. There are some people there, but mostly it's a very safe neighborhood right now. Thanks.
Are there any neon lights flashing like Vegas?
No.
Nightlife in Triangle
God,
Square?
There should be in these magic places, right? They should use magic to light up the signs. In this case, no. But you still find it fine. You recognize the restaurant that Echo mentioned, and you find lotions and potions. And everything is dark in there. However, you do see the silhouette of a woman downstairs, although you don't get a good look at. And you sit in the park under a tree in the dark, in the shadow, almost completely invisible to everyone looking around. When maybe a block down, you hear some shouting and screaming and the flickering of fire. And you look up and you see, I don't know, you've probably heard of this place and probably even been there, but Jacobson's Cakes. It's a bakery. Maybe your mom works there. Oh, of course, right. I forgot that important connection. Yeah. You know Jacobson Cake. Your mom, you love the honey cakes your mom gets there. And, that's where your mom gets your birthday cakes. It is on fire and you are shocked. You race through the park.
I would knock on the first door, even though Lotions and Potions is right there and I know somebody's at least awake in there. I would knock on the door and not remembering to use my Penelope voice, I would just start yelling, help, something's happening. And then I would start running towards the fire, not getting into it, but just closer to see what's happening.
So Jacobson Cakes is on fire. You come up and to the front of the store, to the plaza area. Probably you're still under a tree looking there. And you see about, a half dozen men wearing these blue sashes. And one of them is standing over a figure on the ground, slumped over, and you recognize the figure on the ground. It's Joel Jacobson, and he is bleeding from his head, and the axe standing over him they all have masks over their scarves or whatever. You hear him yell, and he's shouting at the top of his voice. Oh, look, everyone! Oh, this is how dangerous the 7th Ward can be. If you don't pay protection, accidents can happen. And we'll end our session there.